3, 2, 1.
And it's live.
This is Leicester Till I Die TV. Watch and subscribe on YouTube and listen on your podcast platform.
Good evening, everybody. How the devil are we all? Welcome along. It's LTID TV. I nearly forgot where I was coming from then. Leicester Till I Die. Maybe wishful thinking. And it's welcome along. It's we've not done one of these for a while. It's the new show. Two things that you know are happening in advance. One is Christmas, because about 3 months before you start seeing all the mince pies in the shop. And one are transfer windows, because about 3 months before you start seeing all the probably agent-led news stories. One of which is this one that's going on the bottom. Before we start, though, if you can subscribe, like, share, and do all that nonsense, I would be very, very grateful. And if you're listening via your podcast platform of choice, thank you very much. Jack from The Final Whistle joins me. Hi, Jack. How you doing?
I'm all right, Chris. How are we and everybody else in the chat?
Well, I'm all right because I'm going on holiday on Monday.
Oh, getting away from it, Chris. I see, mate. Taking the easy way out.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's a double game week as well. I'm not going to put myself through that again, you know? I mean, I'll watch the game while I'm away, if I know, you know, depending whether they're on telly or not. Although we said that, it's away, so they're probably all on telly. So I'll find somewhere nice that they will show the Leicester game, and but I won't have to talk about it, which will be nice. And I will also be revealing my white bits to the world and trying to get them brown as well. So I'm really looking forward. But,
Nice.
but unfortunately, we have got a match before then coming up. And like I said there, look, transfer window starts in what? A couple of months now, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
2 months, 1 day. So the stories are starting to come out. I tend to sort of ignore them when they're this early because they usually don't have much legs in them. But this one, it comes from the Sheffield Star, and with Hamza having been there most of last season, or half of last season at least, I think there's probably an inkling of truth in there. I mean, first of all, not whether you want him to go. We'll come on to that. Can we afford to let him go? Because I know, you know, we've got a lot of youngsters that were supposed to be coming through. Don't know where they've disappeared to, but, you know, I think the child catchers from Chitty Chitty Bang Bang has been going round Seagrave, putting them all in his truck, because you see them once and then they disappear. But we know we're not exactly strong on that right back position, are we?
No, Hampton's not a right back, is he? He's a CDM, that's his natural position. But Sheffield United, when he was on loan there last season with Chris Wilder, that's where he played, and he played really well there. He's come back to Leicester, played in that position more times than not, and he's done all right in some games. He's been a bit bloody iffy in other games, but yeah, for me, the right back position is a crucial role. We have got Olabadi Aluko, who's obviously in the under-23s at the minute. I think could come through and do a job there. We've got Ricardo Pereira. I think the full-back position we're not really stacked enough. Left back, I think we're okay because Olabody or Luco can also play left back. Luke Thomas, Victor Christensen. Then you look at the right hand side, Chris, and we've only got really two of them, haven't we? To be fair.
This is it, and let's be honest with you. Last season, we were playing a left back in the right back role, despite, as you mentioned before we came live, despite having the right back in the squad that we'd only just bought. But he's not. I mean, I would like to see him as a central defensive midfielder because I think you need somebody there that will put his foot through the ball and let the opposition know he's there. But we know he's a bit like a Phil Neville. He's can play in a lot of different positions. What's the saying? Jack of all trades, but master of none.
You always need a player that's going to put his foot in. Someone who will give 100%. Hamza does that. Whether we know when Hamza has a good game and we know when he has a bad game. I mean, against Hull, he was quite poor in that right back position. Against Huddersfield, he scored that great goal, but then gave away a penalty at the other end. And Hamza's is a bit if and but. We don't know what sort of game we're going to get from him. People say it's a bloody walking red card to happen, and he is normally because he likes to. He's an old school tackler of the ball, and that's what you really like. Who's going to dig in deep and. Really work hard for the team. He does that, and we've relied on him because Ricky P hasn't been fit, and I think he's been steady. I don't think he's been bad. I just think he's been steady in that position. To be fair, but against Hull, I weren't really impressed. I just think he was poor.
Yeah, I mean, we all remember sort of, the West Brom game from a couple of seasons ago, and
you played goalkeeper, yeah.
he nearly did, didn't he? I mean, left foot, right foot, header, perfect clearances. So look, he loves, he's a Leicester lad, obviously, and we love a Leicester lad. He's just, I don't think he's good enough to be the first name on the team sheet. If we had somebody at right back. And I'm not saying that Ricardo's not reliable, but we do know, catch him the wrong way and he's out for 3 weeks. And that's my worry. If we do let him go, and again, he's got 18, 19 months left on his contract, so we might get some money for him. But if he goes, is that really leaving us, a bit naked in that department?
I think maybe we'd have to look at maybe another option at right back. But then obviously we did end up loaning out Koulibaly, didn't we? Who I think would have done a good job in the Championship. He hadn't been seen since when Rude brought him off in that Brentford game. We ended up sending him to, was it Sassuolo in the end? We sent him out on loan in the summer. I'd have kept him personally for the Championship. I think he'd have done a good job. He was one that really got stuck in. I just think with the Hamza thing he's a defensive player, but then when you're playing him at right back and not CDM, you're playing him in square pegs and round holes, and we can't keep doing that. We need players who can play their natural position. You can't keep playing them out of position. It's like playing Jordan James in a number 10, and he's not a number 10, he's a number 8. Do you get what I'm saying?
Don't get me on that one, mate. We'll be here till midnight.
At least we agree with it. That's the main thing.
Oh, yeah, we agree. I mean, I'm just looking here. His value is €5 million. Yeah. So what's that in pounds? Is that just over 5 or just under 5? It's one way or the other, isn't it? I can never remember which way round it is. And, he's
4.3 million.
4.3. So there's an argument that, if we sold him and let's say we got 4 million for him, and it's not out of the realms of possibility. For God's sake, we got £2 million for Cody. I mean,
my God, see how that's gone.
They hate him, don't they?
Oh yeah, they want him out of the team.
Yeah, but
a great show.
Yeah, I don't know who took over John Rudkin in the summer with the window, but he was doing some good deals for us. So the two arguments is
Del Boy finally falls in horse. There's a few dodgy deals.
Probably. But look, I mean, you could argue that we got 80 million in the summer, just about, and we don't need to sell, but financially. But then we know that that's a false figure because of PSR and everything, and we kind of probably owe that. 4.3 million, yeah, it'll probably get us a couple of, okay players. But I don't know, my worry is what is more important at the moment, because we don't know what points deduction we're going to get.
No.
It's anybody can beat anybody in this division. Is the 4.3 million going to be worse than losing the player?
It depends if we put it back into the team. This is the thing. We've only spent £2 million since 2024, and that we're on Koulibaly. So we need to invest a lot more in the squad. January is massive for Leicester because the team just doesn't seem to be doing it right this season. We do sit 10th, don't we, going into this weekend before we play Blackburn, and we need to fill the gaps. We need a striker, of course we do. And if Hamza leaves for Sheffield United, or if another club comes in for him, then I'd take the money personally. But then we've got to replace him with the right fit. That's all I'd say, because he's played for Sheffield United on loan. I think the Sheffield Star are linking him quite well too there, because he's been there before. And when you play for one club, they always seem to link you there every transfer window. And I think this is where it is. And Harry Souttar's going to be one as well that could very much go back to Sheffield United.
I don't think he'll go back in January, because I think he will. He won't be fit enough. So if anybody buys him, he will have only just come back. I would love to see Harry Souttar be given a job in our team. I mean, this was the division he was in when we thought he was good enough to buy, and then, as always with Leicester, God knows what we did, because we buy these players and then they disappear. I'm just looking here at Hamza's stat. I mean, he's on 50 grand a week basic. He is on a bonus of 12,500, so that is sort of 62,000 a year. Okay, it's not
big way. It's not massive.
But it's enough to sort of go, yeah. I mean, and you've got to take that into account. I mean, we know, that Harry Winks is the most expensively paid player in the Championship. But I mean, 62 grand a week. I suppose, you see, for me, I would say, well, for 4.3 million, let's keep him at least until the end of the season, when we know where we are, what we're doing, and what have you. Because 4.3 million probably isn't going to be that good. He's been captain. I don't like him anywhere near the penalty box, because I think there's a penalty in there if he is. So I don't think that. But then when I throw in the fact that he's on £62,000 a week, I'm thinking, yeah, that's a lot of money for him.
It's a lot of money. Yeah. I agree. I do think in January, though, Chris, it's going to be big for Leicester, because you've got players who are out of contract at the end of the season as well. So we've got to make money for them types of players, like your Samares and like your Dakas. We've got to be offloading them types of players. And I think our priority would be, with Hamza having a 2-year deal left, I think we're going to more prioritise where we can sell Daka to in Samara, in that players who are out of contract who are on bigger wages than Hamza is. So I think that's Leicester's main focus in January, the players that are out of contract at the end of the season.
Yeah, 100% agree with you. He's with us for 19 months, isn't he? Unfortunately, but yeah, I tell you what. If we actually manage to sell Wout Faz in the January window, the party's at my place. So all I'm saying, I'm just putting it out there. If anybody wants to come down to the south coast, the party's at mine if we sell him. But yeah, to me, this isn't the priority. Now, we don't know sort of what money march is going to be given to buy players, and that's a big question. Both and I think in the summer window, that's probably when he could be looking at bringing some of the youngsters through, because we've got apparently this golden generation, and apart from Munger, we see Silko Thomas occasionally pop up on the bench, and now a couple of them have, like Louis Page has gone off to Qatar for the England games, Youth World Cup. So if, let's say, at the end of the season we somehow managed, please God, to get rid of Samari. Somehow Winks is out of contract.
Yeah.
Although he's playing well, and I would consider maybe a 1-year extension if we don't go up on less wages. But if either of them two went and the youngsters aren't coming through, because I think you need a successful team to bring them through to slot into.
Yeah.
Could Choudhury maybe partner James? Because I think we would sign James at the end of the season. We've got an option to. He wants to stay. Could him and James do a partnership there, do you think?
I think we've got to build the team around Jordan James.
Mm.
I mean, even if we sold Hamza, you can spend that £4 million on signing Jordan James permanently, Chris. That's what we want to do. Leicester fans love him already. Never fall in love with a player, but we do. No. And this is it. We've got to be wise with our choices. And we're talking about Leicester City, for God's sake. All the mistakes we've made over the last few years have cost us dearly. So I very much wouldn't put him with Jordan James. I think we need a better midfielder in that department if we don't get a new contract for Harry Winks, and Harry Winks does depart. So you look at other players, Jordan Ayew, then you've got, who else have we got? Ricardo Pereira is another one. So we've got to decide what we want to do with these players. And it also then goes on the plans of what league we're going to be in next season as well.
Yes, yeah. I mean, if we do get promoted, you're looking at a completely different plan.
Yeah.
I mean, would you be that, just a sidetrack, because I was talking to Kate earlier, and we both said, if we don't go up this season, it's not the end of the world. And I think if we do go up at the end of the season, it could be one of the worst things, because I think it will just be worse than last time we went up.
I think it'd be bad for us financially, of course, because the Championship doesn't really bring in the money that the Premier League does. But what I will say is we need to rebuild as a club again. We need to really go back to basics, go back to the drawing board and think about where we was successful and how we got there. So we've got to think about getting all these high earners off the wage bill, players that don't want to be here, who are just here to happy enough collect a wage at the end of the day. So I'm very much a case that if we don't go up this season, we need to rebuild from scratch. We need to drain the swamp even more. I know we got rid of a few players like your Ndidis, your Connor Cody's and that. But I do think we needed to get rid of a lot more. I mean, we turned good money down for Daka in the summer, and we could have had Ivanovic from Millwall if we'd sold Daka off. So it's going to be crucial, Chris, to what we do in January. And what we do
you think we can, if we stay down, that it's easier to rebuild than if we go up? Because if we go up, we're almost going to be fighting fires from the off.
Yeah.
But if we don't go up, then that would give us 18, 19 months to do that rebuild, if you like. Yeah,
it gives you also an opportunity more of developing the youngsters a lot more, like Monga. Because do I think Monga would step up in the Premier League at this minute in time? I don't. I think he's got a lot more to learn. I think he's got a lot more to develop. But I do feel disappointed in every manager that comes in at the minute. It's like, we're going to bring the youngsters through. Monga needed to come through because of how good he is. Yeah. But then you're looking at Jake Evans, you're looking at Olabode Aluko, very good youngsters who I think need to be given a chance. Silko Thomas, I think, has done well when given the opportunity. But then you look at Ben Nelson, Chris. I like Ben Nelson, but it's like the manager's just judging him off that game against Huddersfield, and I don't think that's fair to even criticise him on one game, to be fair, because there's a lot more players in that squad who have had more than one bad game. And we don't like to call them out, but we have to because they do. Yeah. I just think Ben Nelson's not really. I think he deserves more of an opportunity. Fast makes a lot of mistakes, and he still manages to get in the team. But you look at Akole. Yes, his distribution's not great when kicking a football, but his defensive side's good. His pace, his awareness, his positioning. I think Okoli would be a top defender if he could sort his distribution out. So I was under the illusion this season in pre-season that Ben Nelson and Okoli would play together.
Yes.
And Pass and Vestergaard wouldn't become a thing in this league. But I think we've been desperate. We've had to play them two because Ben Nelson's just been judged up one game. Okoli, we never thought how he would actually develop in the Championship. But these youngsters, Chris, I think they need to be given more of an opportunity because these experienced players that we talk about, they keep putting in bad performances, but they keep getting picked. So, I think we need to look elsewhere to how we can develop, because if we're going to be in the Championship next season, then if we give the youngsters a sort of an opportunity now, it would give them more of a better stead going into next season.
Yeah, I mean, it would, and I agree. We need to see the youngsters. I just think that we've been giving them all new contracts. Again, Jake Edwards, I know he's off to Qatar, but I mean, maybe. Once we know where we stand with the points deduction, and we know, I mean, we could still be hit very, very hard, and we could end up in the bottom three, and then it's a fight on to whether we come out or not. And I'm looking at the worst scenario, but that's not something you want to be throwing the youngsters into. So maybe once we know, we're getting 9 points and we're still in 17th, 18th or whatever, we're not going to go down, then we could, look at maybe, blooding a few. But I honestly think it would do us better if we stayed down, like you say, a season. Get these youngsters through, because if they don't come through by the summer, I'm just wondering whether they would be coming through at all. And I know Kevin just commented there. Hi, Kevin, how you doing? How many chances can players get? The thing is with Hamza, and I'm going to go back to this point and labour it, because he's no way is he a first name on the sheet player for me.
No, squad player.
He is. But we know that, let's say, if you want a player and I know you got 9 substitutes on, but if you want a player that you can put on at right back, at centre back, even at left back if you're desperate, central, defensive midfield. So that's kind of 5 positions that one player can, if needed, move into. And that's why I'm thinking, is his value, are we going to lose more by letting him go?
I think the only reason that we've kept some of the players like Hamza is because the situation we're in with PSR. Because we can't afford to buy any players, we've had to keep players, even though, because you can't sell everybody in the team, can you, Chris? Because you'll end up enough. You'll have to play the under 23s against, it'd be men against boys, wouldn't it, basically? The championship. We'll end up getting beat quite a few times in the league by doing it. So, with Hamza is, he can play a number of positions, really. He's defensively. He's obviously second captain to Ricardo, isn't he? So he's got a responsibility. And I kind of think that's the only reason we kept him, is because of the position we found ourselves in. So we couldn't have done any more with it, to be fair, because we couldn't buy players. We've had to keep looking around the squad and think, could Hamza offer us something this season? So I just think that's the only solution that we've only come up with, to be fair. I
think if we'd had an offer for him in January, he would have gone.
Oh, for sure.
We were selling, right, we'll make us an offer for players, guys, and I think, like you say, he would have gone. But I just think, as you mentioned earlier, there are players that are in that squad that we need to clear out before Hamza Choudhury.
For sure.
The problem, of course, is getting teams that are interested in the likes of Daka.
That's the thing, Chris, isn't it? It's all right paying the transfer fees, mate. But what do me and you say every transfer window? It's the wages that comes with it. It's the stumbling block.
Yeah, exactly, Fox. That's why we're talking about. He just said, I've seen a rumour last week. Indeed, that's why we're on here now. I mean, we talked about Koulibaly before, and he's gone back to Serie A. He had, like you say, Saluso, I don't know if you pronounce that, and he can never pronounce that, I've come in for him. But he was also a target for another club as well over there in Italy. And of course, he came from Parma. God knows why we bought him. I really have no idea.
I physically think, Chris, it were a panic signing because Rude wasn't happy with. There were no incomings coming in. They just thought, well, we've got to make him happy at some point and actually look like we're doing something here. Top of Rudkin. And they did. They brought in Koulibaly, spent £2 million, which isn't really a lot, but what do we expect with the situation we've got ourselves into? So I do think it was a panic signing, to be fair. Maybe similar to Michael Golding, Chris. £5 million for Michael Golding we spent, and he hasn't really featured in the first team.
I'm very big on conspiracy theories.
Go on.
And I don't know whether I said this to you before, but we needed £40-odd million in that summer because of PSR. And Chelsea came and said, can we have your manager, please? And the get out clause was 10 million.
Yeah.
And they kind of said, well, do you want to, if you buy KDH for, 30-odd million, that makes it a nice round 40 million. And they came back to us and said, well, I tell you what, we'll do that if you take Michael Golding off us for 5. Because what we were asking for, because they gave Kieran Dewsbury-Hall, was it a 6-year contract? So basically, it was £5 million a year when it comes down to PSR. So, we said that's fine. We then paid them £5 million for Golding. So basically, they had, apart from wages, Kieran Dewsbury-Hall there for 12 months, not costing them a penny. And then what happened at the end of that 12 months? They sold him to Everton.
Yeah.
So they had a player there on their books that basically only cost them wages. Now,
maybe
that Chelsea or anybody like that, is not averse to bending the PSR rule book at all. But it's the cap fits, as they say. But Koulibaly, right? We did mention him. Like I say, it was Udinese was the other team he was in. I don't know if he's gone. I mean, I know, for example, oh my God, I've forgotten his name already. The Moroccan that we had.
Oh, Belal El Khanous.
El Khanous. My God, how soon I think you've gone, mate. I've forgotten you. I don't know who you are. He's gone away to Germany on a loan with a commitment to buy. So they've got to buy him.
Obligation, yeah.
Yeah. I'm not sure about Koulibaly, though. Is he on an obligation to buy, or is it just on a loan? Because we signed him for £4 million. And we signed it, it was a 4-year deal. So we've still got, after this season, 2 seasons with him.
A season-long loan. No, it's just a season-long loan.
Right. I would say, if there's anybody with a half a brain at Leicester City Football Club, why not bring him back at the end of the season? The one time I saw him play, he was half decent. And would you sooner have Koulibaly coming on at right back? Good luck. This season, we know Ricardo's going to be number 1, as long as he stays fit. But would you sooner have Koulibaly as your option or Hamza Choudhury?
Do you know what? I thought Koulibaly put more fight in than most of the players last season, to be honest. And I was impressed with him. I don't understand why Ruud van Nistelrooy dropped him. Ruud, I'm not being funny. The arrogance of the bloke, he pisses me off, really. And
have you read that article on Edward wrote?
The guy's an idiot. The thing is, Chris, is Ruud tried being Fergie, basically, with with it. You know, he got the job on a technicality that he beat Leicester twice, and we thought, you know what, oh, this guy's fantastic. We do realise, Top, that he actually beat us twice, mate. You can't just give him a job because of that and praise him for it.
Yeah.
Ruud van Nistelrooy gave up after about gave up after about 5 games. He'd had enough with that team. And I'm just like, mate, well, you came here, you knew what the situation was. Don't go moaning now, mate. You signed that contract. But he was just happy enough to get the paycheck at the end of it. That's what he was waiting out for. He weren't going to step down from Leicester, was he? But no, Koulibaly, I don't understand why we dropped after that Brentford game. Like I say, I'm happy enough with his fight. He's a real commitment to the team. And he was a player that liked to get forward a lot more. He never gave up on lost causes of the ball. He'd always give everything. And I think that's somebody we could have done with this season. I just don't think we've treated him right since he's been here, to be fair.
No.
And I'd have liked seeing a lot more from him, but we don't know how he's settled in since coming to Leicester. You know what I mean? He probably could have struggled. He's probably homesick and that.
I think he put a tweet out which was very...
And to go back there and just enjoy it again, because maybe it just wasn't working out in England.
Yeah, I mean, you know, he put a tweet out which was very telling, because it, you know, saying about, you know, I can't remember the exact wording, but it was obvious he was homesick.
Yeah.
But then when he's not being played and not even in the squad, and you've moved over from another country, I mean, I was born and bred in Leicester. From there, I went to Blackpool to Blackburn, Blackburn to Burnley, and Burnley down to Poole. And I tell you what, when you move, it was all right when I came down here because I had my family and kids with me. When I went to Blackpool and I was on my own, if I hadn't gone to, and I was working for WH Smith at the time, so you immediately had a group of people you knew because that worked in the store. But even that was lonely. And when you're coming over from Italy, maybe you don't speak their language very well, it's hard. And when you're being left out like that, and I'm just looking here, I mean, he's played 4 games for Saluzzo this year. 3 of those they won. 1 of those they lost. Played, funnily enough, at right back. In those 4 games, 180, 190... 235 minutes he's played over the four games. I would definitely take him back. And look, but no, this club will go out and spend another £4 million on another right back when we've got somebody there that we're paying already. We've already paid for.
Or they'd hand out another 4-year contract, Chris, to players that shouldn't even be at the club.
Yes, well,
we're not good enough.
You and me, I can't convince Kate to drop her out of her starting 11 and put Christian in, but she does prefer Thomas.
We ain't got much choice at left back, have we? We've got Thomas, we've got Luke Thomas who isn't good enough, and then we've got Christiansen who isn't good enough. So who do you pick?
Well,
I'd prefer to put Olabadi or Luco there.
I was going to say Luco because that's what the youth players supposedly are coming through. It's this golden generation.
Or switch to a 3 at the back.
Yeah. Well, that would be even nicer, wouldn't it? That would be even nicer to turn on the computer for me on Saturday morning. I've got a radio show till 10. Go and have a quick half hour's kip and come back on. Put the computer on. Oh, he's playing a 3-5-2.
That'd be nice.
Even better, a 4-4-2. That's what I say.
4-4-2 is not this day and age of football, is it, Chris? I'm afraid.
Well, why not? Why not? Let's confuse the opposition. Very quickly, though, because, we will see, obviously, where this is going to go. Just to touch base on you, because I've not spoken to you about this. It's all fun at Celtic, isn't it? I mean, we wanted Brendan to walk, and he wouldn't. And yet here he is at Celtic, and he walks, and my God, the majority shareholder did not hold back. And I was reading that thing that was it Dermot Desmond or Desmond Dermot, whichever way around it is, and all the things he's saying, I'm going, Leicester, tick. Leicester, tick. And I like everyone, you're thinking exactly what we were saying.
Well, that's it with Brendan. Some fans would take him back. I wouldn't.
I was just going to ask you that. Would you?
I would not take him back. No.
If we had got Marty in, let's say, and we'd just not been able to get somebody, would you then take him back?
The end of the day, Brendan Rodgers was a part of the problem as well. As when it started after that Forest defeat, when he threw everybody under the bus, didn't he? After losing to Forest in that FA Cup game, that all started at the end of the era of Brendan Rodgers. Brendan is a person who takes a club so far. I think he's got a 3-year cycle, 4 years. I think Liverpool fans were on about, and when things start getting tough, Brendan Rodgers doesn't like that. He can't handle that well, Chris. And this is what happened at Celtic. He was moaning that I ain't got no money, I ain't got this, I ain't got that. End of the day, that Celtic team's still good enough to win the Scottish Premiership, Brendan. It is. You know, you got Kasper Schmeichel there, good goalkeeper.
Yeah.
I think he had Jeffrey Schlupp there at one point before he went to Norwich.
Yeah. Yes, he did.
To be fair. So the thing is with Brendan is, and we found out at Leicester, he just wouldn't leave. He basically threw his toys out the pram. Well, I do think Brendan knew a lot more than what went on behind the scenes. Yeah. He knew a lot more, and he wasn't allowed to come out and say what was happening at Leicester. But I do sort of see why he was annoyed at the start about he was promised a big rebuild, wasn't it, by the club? They said to give him a big rebuild. He kept prolonging, and then they prolonged it, and then we ended up not doing a big rebuild. He knew we needed about a few players to strengthen the positions and to really kick the squad even further on. The club didn't back him that summer. They ended up selling the best centre-back at the time, Wesley Fofana, for £80 million to Chelsea. And then we ended up bringing bloody Wout Faes in. And then
Fofana did go on strike, didn't he? So
I honestly think Brendan were pissed off. I think he were pissed off at the time with the club, and then he probably thought, "Yeah, Matt Downs told it," but he didn't help himself.
He has to take some of the blame, definitely. We've got to remember,
he has got to take responsibility for his actions in why Leicester City did go down that season. If he'd left earlier,
we just went down, didn't we, by a point or something? You know. But I'm not, I could say he has to take some of the blame. Pop has to take some of the blame as well, and the board. But I think and he's one of those managers, like, everybody says, like Jose Mourinho and managers like that. Well, they're very good when they've got the money to spend and they can bring in world-class players. Would they be able to do it at, Stockport United?
No.
And I think that's it with Brendan. And, it's very interesting what, the majority shareholder said. I really thought it was. I wouldn't have him back personally, but he did. He did win us the FA Cup, and he did get us into Europe 2 seasons and a semi-final of a European Cup.
Chris, this is the same Brendan Rodgers who brought in the Chuckle brothers, Vestergaard and Bertrand, for God's sake. We're talking about the same bloke. We're talking about when Brendan Rodgers got to bring his own players in, he decided to bring Bertrand and Vestergaard in, who were in the 9-0 defeat to for Southampton. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yes, I can't. I haven't really got.
No, I'm not having it. I'm not having that. Brendan Rodgers. End of the day, he deserved to leave Leicester. Well, he ended up leaving on his own accord too late, and it left us in the shit, basically, to scout for points. But it's true what Rich says. Rodgers goes on other managers' tails. He saw we had a good squad, exactly. And his credit at the start formed a good team. It did. You've got to give him credit for the start of Rodgers' ball, which I thought were fantastic at the start. It got us into Europe and that. But when he started bringing in his own players and that, it got worse and worse. And, we obviously had 2 top 5 finishes. We should have been cementing Champions League in the last 10 games of them 2 seasons, by the way, but we just couldn't get it over the line. We fell off. But he is toxic. He does well at starter clubs for like 3 years, 3.5 years, and then that's Brendan Rodgers' book back on the shelf.
But does that not remind you of a certain Claudio Ranieri? Yes, he won us the Premier League.
Yeah.
And I remember when we signed him, I was very much like, I don't care if he doesn't, somebody said, well, he's never won a top title and he's come from Greece and they've just lost out to Mongolia, whoever it was. Why? And I went, well, look, if this guy can win us a cup or get us into the, top, 8 or 9, that will be success. Didn't think he was going to go and do what he did. And I've still got a link to that story. So I was one of the people. I wasn't doing a Gary Lineker, but then the next season, and I remember I was, because we were all talking to everybody that season. I was talking to an Italian journalist, and she said, "Thing with Claudio Ranieri, he does very good in his first season, then he's allowed to buy his own players."
Mm.
And look what happened with us,
Slimani, did Ahmed Musa come in as well, did he?
Yeah, I like Musa, but the thing is, you're buying these players. Did we ever play to Slimani's strengths? No. Did we ever play Musa as an out-and-out striker? No, he was on the wing.
We always played to Jamie Vardy's strengths.
Yes.
When we brought strikers in, it wasn't a fit to what we could do with what Jamie Vardy's doing here. We just brought players in who, just because they were strikers. Ajura and Okazaki, they did it quite well, didn't they? With how they worked, and I just think they were really the only strikers that could really do it. And
Okazaki wasn't exactly, scoring for fun, but he was
he helped the team. Ajura scored some crucial goals for us. And
I loved Ajura. I loved Ajura.
Slimani, and then we've obviously.
But when you look back at the highlights, as I often do in my old age, when I look back and watch sort of like the Champions League games and what have you, he knew where the net was.
He would have dragged in the Slayer against Porto.
Yes, yeah, and I tell you what, in some of the games as well in the Premier League, he set quite a few up for Vardy, but like I say, was never really given the chance. But I just find it very, very funny with Brendan Rodgers that everything that we were saying about him has now been proved by the majority shareholder.
It was a successful Leicester manager if you look at his of what he won at the club and where he got us. But in the end, people remember what happened at the end, don't they? Really,
they do.
I think he should have had more respect for Leicester. Just walk away early on. You look at the Tottenham game at 6-2 defeat. Probably should have walked away then, and then we could have gone forward as a team then and got a decent manager in. Was Nuno Espirito Santo out of a job then?
I'm not sure. But talking of Nuno, not directly, but Brendan is being linked with and I know Nuno's not there now, but it is the tenuous link I'm using. Nuno is being linked with the Wolves job. If they get rid of whoever is there at the moment, starts of the season.
I do physically think with Brendan that we left it too long as a club. Because he wouldn't walk away, we couldn't afford to sack him. That was our problem. That's our downfall. We hoped he would run on his own accord, which in the end they had to, didn't they, for cheaper money? Yeah. So that's where you sort of looked at the club and thought, we're in a bit of a mess here. What's going on behind the scenes? This is what I'm saying. Brendan Rodgers knew more than he let on with Leicester City.
I was allowed to say,
why we couldn't have this big rebuild. That's why I think this is where PSR started. But we just didn't know about it until late on when obviously Brendan left.
Well, it was that first transfer window, wasn't it, when of that season we got relegated, is that Brendan said, we're going to make all these changes, bring new players in and everything, and then nobody came in. But the club being the club never came and said anything until transfer deadline day when we were playing Manchester United. And in his notes, Top said, well, we can't, we're struggling with money because we've been told if we get back into Europe that we'll be done for PSR by UEFA. And it's like, well, if you told us that at the start of the season, we'd have all understood where we're going from. What about that from Scott? Take Brendan back as director of football. let's be honest with you, in fairness, you'd probably take Noddy back as director of football instead of the guy that's there at the moment.
I'd take Nigel Pearson as a director of
Oh,
football.
100 million
But
percent.
do you know what? There's a few Leicester fans who believe that Claude Puel would make a good director of football.
Yes, I can see the logic.
Claude Puel brought in some good players to Leicester. Maddison, Ricardo, Tielemans. He knew what players to get at a football team. The only thing that didn't help Puel was his style of football and how to get results with it. That was Puel's downfall.
Yeah.
Or he'd play players square pegs into round holes. He put Jamie Vardy on the wing, for God's sake, and he's a striker.
There was a few bumps in his
football without watching paint dry, Chris. And you know what? I think he got sacked too late as well. I physically think he'd have gone sooner that season. He should have gone sooner, in my opinion. Probably that West Ham game, the 1-1. He should have gone then after that game.
Yeah. Yeah. It's look, hindsight's a wonderful thing, isn't it? So,
it is.
But some of these, the likes of I think a director of football that has been a manager. I'm not sure about Brendan, in fairness. Nigel Pearson, 100%. I would have him back in a dot as director of football.
Yeah.
He can fight bears. So
we need people who know the club well.
Yeah.
We need a proper football advisor to move this club forward. We've not got a chief executive anymore. I think she's on about going to is it Celtic she's been linked with now? Susan Whelan.
Has she? Wow.
Yeah, someone's been put in the rumour mill that she could be off to Celtic. So I think Susan made some mistakes. Of course she did, but she did good more than bad for the football club. And
I did a programme about Susan Whelan, and I had a very interesting email of somebody who, when you check his history, it's all blacked out, so it's all very strange. But when you check his name at Company's House, everything's blacked out. Sort of saying, "Be careful what you're saying," sort of thing. And I'm like, "Ooh, okay." I know. But I was only actually, in fairness, I was only saying something that, funnily enough, Kevin Maguire had said to me. Yeah. And I also did a show. I did 2 shows about her, and the first show was scapegoat or something else. I can't remember how I worded it now. But I don't think she's the person that should have gone.
No, I agree. I think the director of football should have gone. They got rid of the wrong one, but the thing is, Todd wasn't going to get rid of his best mate.
That's the thing.
It's a fact, it is. And he was the one Rudkin was the one that was there during that obviously sad time and that of Vishai's passing. And, he relied on Rudkin because Rudkin helped him through that period.
Yeah.
And he was a family friend. So he's relied on Rudkin. Yeah, I would have personally have got rid of the other one rather than Whelan. But this is the problem, Chris. This is where the problems have come from. We've took an eye off the ball. We've stood still, let everything pass us. We've not learnt from our mistakes. We just sweep them under the carpet and we just keep making the same mistakes. But the same people who have made these mistakes are not being held accountable for it, Chris. They're not being... they're obviously being called out by the fans, but they're not held accountable themselves and thinking, why are Leicester City in this situation? They're thinking they can pin the blame on everybody else but themselves.
Yes.
And, they're blaming Susan Whelan when I think Susan Whelan knew what was happening behind the scenes and she wasn't happy with maybe this BC game thing came back at that time when she was going to be sacked because they said that Whelan and Rudkin hadn't spoke for over a year. So that sort of relationship was unattainable to sort of go on working together.
Can we just in case that gentleman is watching tonight, we're going to just say allegedly on all of this.
All right, allegedly, yeah. Well, that ain't what Rob Dorset said. So
no, I know, but I'm just
allegedly. We'll leave it alleged, yeah.
We'll leave it allegedly because I can't afford big lawyers. But
I agree with Tony though about the sponsorship deal thing. I think that was done over a head. I do.
Yeah. Very. I mean, look, we'll never know.
But it's alleged, isn't it? You know, obviously accused.
I think we could probably get more information out of the KGB than we ever would do out of Leicester City Football Club. They're so secretive.
It's all private, isn't it?
Yeah, it's Leicester.
We don't know what gets done. I mean, you know, you got players believe they're working on at bloody Seagrave and that, and doing everything in the care and that, and on match days you see the completely different thing.
Yeah. I always say I don't give a fuck what goes on the training pitch. What I want to see is what goes on.
What you want to see in a game, isn't it? That's what gets you the points, isn't it? Is when you actually come to the game. If you can't turn up for the game, mate, that's your fault.
Exactly. Yeah. Right. I'm going to wind this up. I've got another show in a bit. Jack, tell us where you're from.
The final whistle. We did the match preview yesterday for Blackburn with Ollie Collins, my mate Jolly Ollie on TikTok. Go and have a look at his videos. He is a funny bloke. We've done the championship predictions as well for week 13. Obviously, we've got that coming up on Monday as well for week 14, as we hopefully can talk a bit more positive about Leicester this weekend.
It'd be nice, wouldn't it?
Chris, I'm going to ask you actually, what's your prediction for this weekend, mate? What do you reckon?
Heart or head?
Both.
My head. You see, I'm the guy that last season in the prediction. All I will say is I'm one off the bottom of the prediction league. I mean, you're sort of mid-table safety, so you're all right. I'm bottom, second from bottom. But I was the guy that last year, after 16 defeats in a row, turned around and said, "I'm gonna pick Leicester to win this week. We can't lose 17 in a row, can we?" Oh yes, we did. So don't take a word. I have my head says 1-1.
Yeah, I think. I think.
But my heart's gone 3-1 to Leicester. Daka comes on at half time and gets a hat trick. You heard it here first.
Well, this is what we bloody pray miracles for. That it's been 300 plus days since that guy scored a goal. His last goal for Leicester was the West Ham first game, Ruud van Nistelrooy's home game.
Yeah.
So
we thought, wow, he still got it.
Well, I'm over you. I've gone 2-0 to Leicester. That was a heart sort of prediction, but my head. We go 1-0 up. We seem very fragile. We seem to always let teams back in somehow, don't we? And if Blackburn,
we've got to start playing before the 60th minute.
Well, we need a 90-minute performance, Chris.
Yes, definitely.
We keep having little spells of games, mate, and we can't seem to see games out when we're 1-0 up, mate. We have that mentality of we're better than you. You ain't gonna lay a glove on us, and then what happens, Chris? We can see the goal.
For all those minutes that we're good together, and you might have one 90-minute match, you know.
Oh yeah, 1 win and 8 says it all about Leicester at the minute, Chris. Mate, how poor we are.
I hate saying this, but this is a game that we should win.
Should. Should's always the word with us, isn't it? We looked at Wrexham and Portsmouth and that, Chris, and we said we should be winning them games. What happens, Chris? It's Leicester again, isn't it?
Yeah,
Leicester. We throw away points, mate. We throw away a number of points. If we didn't throw away them points, Chris, we could have even been top of the championship.
Yeah. But in fairness to Marty, he's away with his, Mr. Sheen trying to polish the turds that put the Leicester shirt on. We live in hope. It's Leicester. Yeah. We should be. If we don't, why are we all surprised? How long have we supported this club? Never been any different. Jack, thanks so much, mate. All the best. Enjoy the game on Saturday. Bring 3 points out to KP for us, and I'll see you. I'll see you soon. I won't see you next week because I'm off to the sun, but I will see you.
Enjoy your holiday. Catch you soon.
I will, mate. Take care. Cheers. Bye. Thanks very much to Jack there for coming on and jumping on and helping us out. We'll be back in 29 minutes. I do like to be precise. Not 28, not 30, 20 minutes. So please do join us for that when we'll be looking at the press conference review. And I really am sort of, as I say, looking forward to that. I will see you. Don't forget, don't touch that dial. Like, subscribe, share the video. I say, if this is how you've heard us via your local or your favourite podcast platform, thank you for listening. I'll see you with Wayne in 28 minutes now. Don't you dare go away. Thanks very much, everybody. Take care. Have a good night.
Thanks for watching. These videos are tremendous. You better like them too, or I'll be back.
This podcast is proud to be part of the TalkSport Fan Network. TalkSport. Powered by fans.
That will conclude this evening's entertainment.